Dark Messiah of Might and Magic is a breath of fresh air into one of the oldest genres of games out there, being RPGs. Where most games in this vein focus on things like in-depth stats and party systems, Dark Messiah instead aims its sights at being a truly interactive and cinematic experience. Released by Arkane Studios in 2006, Dark Messiah puts you in the shoes of Sereth, a young apprentice to a powerful wizard. At the start, your master tasks you with heading to a far-off city called Stonehelm and making a rendezvous with an old friend of his. To accompany you, your master summons a strange being named Zana that disturbingly morphs inside you and watches over as well as advises you throughout the game. What starts as a simple task turns to anything but that, as all hell breaks loose in the city and all manner of secret plots and prophecies are uncovered. As you make your way through this 11 or so hour epic and meet all kinds of friends and foe, you'll have to uncover hidden details about your past, learn the truth of the raging war, and decide the fate of the world as a whole. Arkane Studios is no slump in the games industry. They've released a number of massive games in the last decade, like Dishonored and Prey. While those titles, and even newer ones like Deathloop, get heaps of praise, I feel their earlier games have almost been forgotten by many. With this review and future ones, I hope to bring some light to absolute classics that deserve attention like this game. Combat is the real centerpiece of this game, and let me tell you, it's amazing. I can't say I've ever played an RPG with battles as interactive as this. Every encounter has seemingly endless ways to handle it, and the world is filled with interactable elements that never fail to surprise. Scanning the scenery of each room will lead you to finding loose chandeliers, weak ceiling supports, and crumbling statues that you can use to dispatch all sorts of enemies. If that wasn't enough, you can pick up and throw literally anything at your foes and watch them fly across the room and land in a number of cleverly placed hazards like spike walls and fire pits. Tons of weapons are at your disposal, from magic swords to enchanted bows and staffs that all eliminate foes in countless ways and have differing strengths and weaknesses. A plethora of magic spells are available that let you do anything from electrocuting a whole room of enemies to freezing your foes solid. If all that wasn't enough, you also get an all-powerful kick that has to be one of the most fun moves I've used in a game. Watching enemies get flung off massive cliffsides or go tumbling into their allies and knocking them over like a stack of dominoes never gets old. Dark Messiah feels at times like a playground where you can spend hours experimenting how to come up with the coolest ways to take out your foes. Will I cut the ropes on that drawbridge and watch them fall to their deaths, or will I make an ice path and watch them one by one slip right into my path? Hours of fun is on offer here, and for the combat alone, I would recommend anyone try this game. The AI also helps bring the combat to life, as they will react to the damage you do to them by limping away or retreating to get back up. During combat, you can even hear some enemies talking about how to flank you and deciding what sides to attack you from. So much thought has gone into every aspect of the combat system that it's truly awe-inspiring. What is not truly awe-inspiring, however, are your AI allies. You will be forced to keep them alive in certain sections of the game, and if they die, you'll actually fail the mission as a whole. Here's a section when I had to help a prominent character named Liana clear an area of orcs.
To meet his dragon!
Get away from me!
Stranger's death will bring honor to family. Orcs! You are weak! Stranger going to meet his dragon! Our luck will be pleased.
Luckily, I managed to get past this section by utilizing a feature that allows you to tell your allies to wait further back in safety. While this is not ideal, these sections amount to such a short part of the game that it won't ever be much more than a minor inconvenience along the way. The other issue I had with the game was the difficulties. In all honesty, I do not recommend anyone playing this game on anything other than normal difficulty, as I feel like the creativity and fun that the game has on offer is severely stifled by the massive buffs the enemies get. When an enemy can kill you in 2 hits, and when you're put up against a room full of them, you're forced to only make use of the most efficient and safe tactics instead of the most fun ones. This in some aspects puts a damper on one of the coolest features about this game, and in reality, the normal difficulty provides enough of a challenge to still remain fun. To add to this, the game could sometimes crash on you, but I found a helpful program that patches the game to utilize more of your computer that I will leave in the description, as it minimized crashing a good amount for me. Other than on the PC, the Xbox 360 is the only way to play this game currently, and I do not believe you will run into as many issues on that platform. The little details are what makes this game stand out beyond its peers. I was blown away by every small unnecessary trick the developers slipped into the game. At one point, while fighting a huge Cyclops, I made use of a pile of giant boulders to keep safe. To my surprise, the Cyclops straight up picked up the boulder and tossed it to the side, forcing me to scramble and change my plans. Even jumping onto raised platforms isn't always safe, as many of the enemies react to situations like this by using a separate attack or climbing up and attacking you on your level. Speaking of climbing, this game makes heavy use of a really cool weapon called the rope bow. With this, you can essentially scale nearly any level and get new vantage points on any situation that allow you to take indirect or stealthy approaches to many missions. This plays into the level up and class system the game offers that allows you to either be a jack of all trades but a master of none, or anything from a master wizard to a master assassin. In addition to this, Dark Messiah has huge amounts of hidden locations with special types of armor and weapons to find. Exploring off the beaten path in this game is always rewarded, and finding hidden wall switches and secret underwater chambers never ceases to excite. In some ways, this game reminds me of Thief, which also has a similar type of weapon to the rope bow. In other ways, it reminds me of an Elder Scrolls game, however. That truly is the beauty behind Dark Messiah. The freedom and choice in how to play that Arkane Studios gives you is extremely refreshing, and the few scripted scenes added to this honestly blow anything that you would see in those other games out of the water. Exploring the vast and detailed levels is a joy, and you'll get to see everything from mountainside crumbling rafters to ancient underground tombs and even massive fantasy cities. All this and a solid story really make for an experience like no other, and the beautiful soundtrack by Chris Velasco and Sasha Dikisian only serves to further put this game into a category of its own. You even have a number of unique endings to choose from that are determined by some major decisions you make along the way. It's a shame to see that in some ways modern titles have actually regressed in key areas that make this game great. The pure creativity and physics madness that is on display in Dark Messiah needs a return in the modern gaming scene. Outside of the single player, Dark Messiah also has a fairly robust multiplayer. 12 maps and 5 classes are at your disposal to play in a number of different game types like Team Deathmatch, Coliseum, and Capture the Flag. The multiplayer actually makes some interesting inclusions, like a level up system that you can use as you play, and spells and tools that were not present in the game are also available here. Sadly, the online aspect of the multiplayer is essentially dead at this point. You can still get friends together and make a game of your own, and make use of a bot mod that adds AI players to the games if you want to experience the action for yourself, however. There's also a group on Steam and a Discord that I'll link in the description if you're interested in playing more of this multiplayer. In the end, Dark Messiah Might and Magic is a breathtaking RPG experience that mixes so many cool aspects of a variety of different games into a unique package that needs to be played even 16 years later at the time of recording. For all these reasons and more, I'm giving this game a 9 out of 10.
Stupid, ugly, and mean, but Zim my cousin. Now you're turning on a spit. Orc eat goblin, goblin eat orc. Me already tasted orc. Not so bad. One day Greek gave me both livers. He said it brings power and strength. Do you remember not?
It not a pair of livers, I think.
What? You mean it's not a pair of livers?
Orc only have one liver. I think you eat pair of something else.